Now I want to fail. I want to fail epically, and I want to fail hard, because there's so much learning and failure and so much growth in your mind and body and soul in that failure that you can't help but get better, because it's all upside after the failure.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Outsourcing Scaling Show. Today my guest is Sean Douglas. Sean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing, man. How are you?
Doing great. So Sean is a U.S. Air Force veteran, TEDx speaker, master resilience implementer, suicide awareness trainer, business positioning strategist, international radio show host of the Life Transformation Radio, and author. He's a suicide survivor who hit rock bottom. He believes that you were created for a purpose, and once you unlock your true potential, you will elevate your life, which is why he founded the Success Course. Sean works with entrepreneurs, speakers, and business owners to improve their positioning in the market, which increases profitability while decreasing their anxiety and stress they feel in life. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited to talk to you. So normally I go back and I ask people, what were they like growing up? Were they a straight A student? Were they a rebel? I'd love to just hear your story. If you could kind of take us back there, but I know you had some pretty powerful things that happened in your life. I'd love to just hear the full story.
Wow, the full story.
I guess not the full story, a summary of the story.
So I was born and raised in Detroit. Lived there until the age of 18. And from the time that I was in second grade until the time that I was in seventh grade, I was physically, emotionally, and mentally abused as a child by my ex-stepdad. My mom and dad divorced when I was in first grade because my dad went into the military. My mom didn't want to wait around, so she divorced him, got in with another guy. And so I lived in a alcohol-dominated and domestic violence type of household. And so by the time I was 18, I lived in 11 different houses and I attended 8 different schools.
Wow.
We just always moved around. We either got evicted or we were living in my grandparents' basement twice. We lived in my grandparents' full finished, basement. It wasn't like a cellar, full finished basement, everything. And yeah. So that was kind of my childhood until seventh grade. And then my mom divorced him, got in with another guy. We moved in with his house. He was all kinds of emotionally messed up and never had any kids. And so that wasn't a great environment. And then finally my mom moved, and got her own house up in, north of where we were living. And I finished out high school there. And then I joined the Air Force right after 9/11. What stands out about my story is that I never dealt with anything that happened. I just took it as it came and then never really thought about it, internalized it, whatever. Never thought that it would impact any decisions until I got into the military. And then I started getting into alcohol, started doing stupid stuff, started becoming an adult, and started getting into the tendencies that I saw as a kid because I didn't have anything else modeled for me. And found out quickly that that is not the right way to act as a family man, as a husband, boyfriend, whatever. So there was a lot of not having a lot of value in yourself type of situations.
So you've obviously had a lot of success since then. And I'm fortunate enough where I grew up, I had great supporting family. And I mean, there are people that have that and they go down the wrong path. There are people that have a rough upbringing and they turn around and crush it, or vice versa. So where do you kind of see that balance between having a good upbringing, leading to success versus being your own person and figuring it out for yourself?
Ever since I was in like fourth grade, I always had a resilience, survivor type of mentality. Fourth, fifth, and sixth grade, I'm out shoveling snow, raking leaves, mowing yards, planting flowers, whatever I can do in the neighborhood just to earn money, just so we could eat. Like I specifically remember, coming home one winter night and I was like, Mom, I got $60. And he was out doing his binging and, he would hawk things around the house to go pawn for drugs and things. And I was like, Mom, we got to hide this. We got to hide this money, and it was just, I remember that so distinctly because I have 4 kids and, my kids don't have to worry about making money or, hiding money or any of that stuff. That's one thing that they do not have to do. So, if I had to gauge my home life against my childhood home life, it's drastically different.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So talk to me about your first entrepreneurial endeavor. What was it? How did that go?
Well, besides the raking leaves, shoveling snow, things like that, you do lemonade stands. I used to take things from the curb, repurpose them and sell them. My mom used to do the same thing, take things from the curb, like a dresser, sand it down, paint it, whatever we're going to do, just repurpose some things. Once I got into high school, it was, trading cards, baseball, football, hockey, getting into trading cards, going to card shows. And then once I got into an adult, my first real entrepreneurship was creating an entertainment company, producing weddings, DJing at bars and clubs, doing quinceañeras, retirement ceremonies and parties, Christmas parties, office parties, military, graduations, whatever it was from airman leadership school or, whatever it was for, producing conferences, summits, events, things like that.
Got it. So talk to me about growing your first business. I'm assuming you had to hire some people. What was your first hiring experience like?
Oh my gosh. It was an epic fail. I'm big on the word of mouth and I'm big on referrals, huge on referrals. So somebody comes highly recommended. I'm like, that's awesome. Come to find out, the highly recommended person who's doing the highly recommending was my friend's brother. Right. So, he's great and he's amazing. Right. I'm like, cool. Well, I didn't even put the 2 and 2 together until he bailed on a gig that we had. He no-showed 15 minutes in, 30 minutes in, okay, an hour in, now I'm getting a phone call. Oh yeah, you should be there. Yeah, didn't even show. So I had to rush over there, set up, start. We had to give back a bunch of money, only got paid half, whatever. And all I hear is, my brother's I'm like, whoa, hold on. Okay, your brother? Oh, yeah, that's my brother. I'm like, oh, hell no. I never work with family, period, the end. If I have 4 people that work for me, you're not hiring anybody of your family. I will not have office politics at all, ever. And usually it stems family is the worst people you could ever work with, ever, because there's no filter. There's no filter, So yeah, nope. And it turns out it was this person's brother. And I'm like, no, it's not happening. So fired. And they only lasted a couple weeks.
And I don't know if I've shared this with my audience, but actually on my birthday this year, I have an awesome VA team. And there were 2 people I had to fire. And I actually found out that they were dating at the time. And both of them used to be good. Their performance went down. I have no idea what was going on or wasn't going on in their personal life. And had I known that then I obviously wouldn't have hired them. But that stuff happens. You have to be aware of it. What kind of relationships do these people have outside of the office? And I even have a client, if you go to our YouTube video, you can see a video by one of our clients, Norman, and he hired an entire family to run his business. He pissed off someone in that family one day and the entire team quit on him. It was 7 people running his whole business. So you can't put all your eggs in one basket. And I think that's a great lesson that you shared with us. I know that you've done a lot with TEDx. I know you've done a lot with just helping people get over the struggles that they've had. I think for people on the outside, people who haven't suffered from depression or gone through something in life, it's kind of tough for us to relate. Can you do your best to describe what's going through someone's head that would force them to kind of take an action like that on their own body and their own life?
Yeah, my TEDx was pretty dark and deep in the first couple minutes. I like I said, I was running for 4 years. I was running, a 6-figure. I never had an issue with money. I was always getting booked. I was always, doing something somewhere. I never had an issue, and I'd work 2 or 3, I would get off of one, go to another one, get off. I would book 3 or 4 events in the same day. I got a wedding at 2. That one's done at 5. I got to go to this other party at 6. That'll be done at 9. I'll go do this club at 10 or 11 or 12. I would do double, triple. Right. But that takes a toll on you, especially even if you have 3 or 4 people working with you, it takes a toll on you. And with me, it was never enough. I had to do more. I didn't make enough money that day. I felt like a failure. And I am the worst person to myself. And then if somebody else thinks that I'm not good enough, it's exacerbated. It's even worse. So I'm really, really hard on myself. And it took a toll. You know, I started fighting alcohol, started, you know, just using that to bypass the pain or the hurt or, you know, just the failure. Like I didn't take failure well, you know, because I thought failure was like the worst thing ever, you know, and now I don't. Everything that I used to do is the complete opposite of how I operate now. And in that mindset, in that moment, you're in quicksand. You feel like there's no other way. You feel like there's no way out. When you're drowning in debt or you're drowning in relationship woes or you're not as successful as you thought you were going to be. I mean, so many different things happen in life. If you feel like there's no way out and you feel like the weight of the world is on top of you, you start to go down this deep, dark path and start having these uncharacteristic thoughts like, maybe nobody will miss me. Like, why do I even bother? I suck at everything I do. Nobody will ever, you know, remember me when I'm gone anyways. Or they would be like, my team would be better off without me. Maybe I should just, you know, quit and give it to them. And maybe I'll just, you know, fall in a gutter or something. Like I would have these stupid thoughts where I'm like, I'm just gonna run my truck off the bridge. Like, this is stupid. I can't even do this. I mean, it was bad. And
you're having success, right? I mean, it's not like you're a failure out there looking for a job. Like you're running a pretty large business.
Yeah. I mean, I've got people all over the place that, I mean, I would fly out to different places, different states, produce this one event, speak at this one thing, do this one thing. And then I had events. I mean, I would have every single weekend would be booked with something. Be a wedding, a quinceañera, a party of some kind, an office event, a summit, a conference. I mean, every weekend we're doing something. And what it was I'd get 5 yeses, like, oh yeah, let's do this. Yeah. No, we don't need your service. And I'd be like, I'm a failure. Like it was that bad. I was so bad.
How do you help people get over that?
So now I look at failure as a learning opportunity. I had to frame my mind to say, oh, it's a no, I'll show you. I'll make you sorry you didn't hire me. So I use it as fuel. I use negativity because negativity used to just draw me down, man. Like, I'm not even joking. Like if somebody was like, your business sucks, I'd be like, oh my God, does it? Oh my God. Like I was a people pleaser. Like everybody had to like me. Everybody had to be a part of my company. I had to serve everybody. I had to make everybody happy. I would go to the end of the world to make everybody happy. Now, like I just understand that you just can't make everybody happy. I could deliver AAA 4 diamond service. I mean, I'm talking like restaurant, like 5 diamond, and still somebody would be unhappy. I met people in my journey, my entrepreneurial journey. If I gave them $1 million in a brown briefcase, they'd be pissed off because the briefcase was brown instead of silver. I've met these people.
Right.
Like I've met so many people at conferences and events and different things that they're so happy. Everybody is amazingly happy with the service that we provide, except for one person. And that one person just ruined it for everybody. Right? I mean, it's that one person. And so I just let that stuff not bother me anymore. I use it as fuel. I always learn to get better. Whatever the feedback is, I'm like, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to get better and I'm going to keep on going. And I want to fail. I want to fail epically and I want to fail hard because there's so much learning and failure and so much growth in your mind and body and soul in that failure that you can't help but get better because it's all upside after the failure.
And I said, how do you help people get over it? Which I almost feel like is the wrong thing to say because I think for people on the outside, it's like, oh, like you should overcome it. You should be more positive.
Oh, yeah,
They almost make it seem too easy. But for someone that's actually handling that, I mean, it's not something you just fix and it goes away. I'm assuming it stays with you after the fact and you're constantly battling against it.
Yeah, everything I just said, I just teach people that mindset. I mean, literally it's, and how did you feel about that failure? Oh, I was like, okay, how can we reframe this? Like, what do you think you should reframe it as? And I just walk them through a process. What do you think that failure means? Because you have to become a master of meaning. And you are the only person who ever gives meaning to any situation that you encounter. And I coach people on doing that. And everything I just described, reframing the failure into a growth mindset, reframing that failure into a learning opportunity and a new possibility to become better. I just teach people how to do that. And once you can accept that in your mind, that failure is a good thing and that you want to fail, especially when you start a new business, like fail fast and fail often. Just get that crap out of the way, fix everything that's broken, and then you start. Because the last thing you want to do is build a 6 or 7 figure business, right? And then all of a sudden, just one day, the bottom falls out, and then you failed, like 3 years in.
So, what advice would you give to successful entrepreneurs to keep it going, to avoid starting to go down that bad path to begin with?
Don't rest on the laurels of what got you there. Always be innovating, always be growing, always be failing.
I love it. So if someone's listening out there and they have been struggling with anything, whether it's in their personal life, whether it's in business, do you have any overall advice other than what you talked about before?
There's so much. I just want people to be grateful. Like, gratitude is my number one superpower. Everybody always talks about, when you're in the middle of it, how are you feeling? Because we can look back, you and I can look back 10 years ago and be like, man, I was kind of sucking it up back then, but just being grateful for everything, being grateful for the family, the friends, the money that you have or the money that you don't have, the money that you're trying to earn, the clients that you have, everything in this moment, the bad, the good, the ugly, everything you have, just be grateful, because you can learn so much if you just take an inventory of the things that are going well and the things that are not going well, because we tend to focus on either all the good or all the bad. So I just want people to take inventory and take stock of everything that's going on, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, and just be grateful, because everything is happening for you, and it's not designed to destroy you as people think, like, all the negativity is going to tear me down. Grow from it. Be grateful that you have negativity in your life, because it just makes you stronger.
Completely agree. And for those of you following me, last few weeks have been rough because our Facebook page got removed because one of Facebook's bots took it down. And it's so easy to be like, oh, woe's me. Like, I put so much work into that, useful, whatever. But you got to look at it as a whole. Like, I'm so fortunate to be in this situation. I have flexibility, whether it's freedom, financially, whatever it is. And we're in this position with a great business. And yeah, there's a setback. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be things that don't go the way you want, failures, like you said. And you've got to keep that positive mindset. I mean, you got to really just enjoy the moment. I mean, things can be so different a year from now, whether it's your health, your family, your business, all of that stuff can change quickly. So you gotta appreciate the moment, appreciate what you've built so far.
Absolutely.
At that point.
Well, think about it too, man. I mean, you have different social media profiles. If you're only on Facebook and that crashes, I mean, you're toast. You got to rebuild all that all over again. But luckily, you're smart enough to have various different avenues of revenue and growth and, everything that you're doing. So yeah, the page goes down. Yeah, it stings and it sucks, but you have other avenues that you can rest on while rebuilding that one piece, So yeah, that's a great lesson to be learned too. Again, holy crap, just lost everything. How am I going to fix this? Right? Or what can I do? Or how can I, right? And this is the questions that we ask us to foolproof everything. Because when the recession hits, we need to foolproof ourselves, right?
100%. Sean, this has been great. Where can people find out more about you, and what are you most excited about for the rest of the year?
People can find me at my website is The Success Core, CORPS, thesuccesscore.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and on LinkedIn. So would love to connect with everybody on there. What I'm most excited about is it's halfway through the year, man. There is no halftime, so we're getting up to the end of the second quarter, rolling right into the third quarter, no breaks. And I've loved everything that's happened, the failures, the success, everything that's happened in 2019. It's my most profitable year, my best year ever. And I'm so blessed, and I can't wait to see what the rest of 2019 has for me and everybody that I'm associated with.
Awesome. Sean, thanks again. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Did you enjoy this content? If so, click like, leave us a comment. and subscribe to our channel so we can continue bringing you great content all about hiring.